Hello everybody, this is a bit of a different video if you couldn't tell. Today I am in custom, and I'm going to be talking about everyone's iridescent add-ons. First up, Trapper. I think Bloody Coil, perfect, great, doesn't need to be changed, solid. Iridescent Stone. Now this one is only useful in certain situations. So I think Iridescent Stone and Honing Stone should be switched. I think Honing Stone should be the Iridescent. What Honing Stone does is it inflicts dying upon trapped people if they free themselves. Kind of like Bloody Coil makes the survivor that disarms your trap injured. Except for this one's if they're in the trap and they get themselves out, they get put into the dying state. This is the only thing I would change. Now, Wraith. All-Seeing Spirit. Great. Great. It's amazing. Doesn't need to be changed. The only thing I would change is make it a little bit easier to see the generators progress. This, what it does is, when you're cloaked, it shows you the ores of all generators. And the ores of the generators get redder and redder depending on how much they've been put in. How much they've been worked on. Coxicomb Clapper. I think this one, and this is a weird thing for me, I think this should be part of his base kit. Because he's supposed to be stealthy, right? What's the use of a stealth killer if you know exactly where they are? Or at least make it sound like it's everywhere on the map. Everywhere. If you're going to do that. Maybe instead of this, all-seeing blood is the iridescent one, and this is changed, or this one just needs to be changed to something that's. I think his spell should be either completely silent or be heard across the entire map. I think that would really help. Hillbilly. I think these Apex Muffler and Iridescent Brick are only useful if you put them together. Chainsaw is silent for survivors outside the terror radius, and after maintaining a chainsaw sprint for 2 seconds, gain the undetectable status effect until you stop sprinting. I think these two are very useful together. They're kind of niche when they're on their own, but what are you gonna do? Like, you're probably gonna put those two together. Nurse. Matchbox, I don't have any problems with this. You have one blink, but it increases your base movement speed to 4.2 meters per second. Kind of like the Huntress's new thing. I'm going to release a video after this one with all the new and updated add-ons. And Torn Bookmark adds one blink charge, but blinks are restricted to the locations in the nurse's line of sight. I think this kind of defeats the purpose of the nurse, because you're gonna start teleporting through stuff, and if you can't teleport through stuff, what's the point? Like, sure, you can catch survivors off guard in a chase, but it'd be much easier if you could teleport through things. And adding one blink charge isn't something you're gonna really need unless you add it with this one. And even then, these two together, solid, but separately, this one is meh, and this one is okay, it's pretty good. Now, Huntress. Iridescent Head. This one needed to be nerfed, okay? If you don't think it needed to be nerfed, you're wrong. Inflicts dying upon the person you hit. Reduces maximum carried hatchet amount by 4. I'm glad they nerfed this one. When they nerf it, it's going to still inflict dying upon the person, but it makes it so you can only have one regardless of if you put it with this or not. And I'll talk about the other one when the newest update comes out. Mikey's, Frankfurt Tuft of Hair, and Judas Tombstone. Honestly, I think these don't need to be changed. I think maybe that it should take all 4 people fully stocked, or like 3.5 people stocked fully for you to get it, because it's kind of game breaking. but it's not really like something you're gonna do if you actually want to like win. It's something you do to have fun. So I have no complaints about those ones other than maybe it should be changed for the stock amount. That's about it. Now Hag. Hag's the one I have the most to say about. The Hag can teleport to any phantasm trap in the level. Amazing. Cooldown to 15 seconds, doesn't matter. Amazing. Waterlogged shoe. I have some problems with this one. Survivors within a phantasm trap trigger range will suffer from hindered side effect, increases the Hag's movement speed slightly, and removes the Hag's ability to teleport. That's her one power. And unless you pair it with something else that makes it so you don't teleport to traps, or like this or something else, it's not going to be very useful. But if you put it with Scarred Hand and Waterlogged Shoe, it's going to be amazing. Because Body Blocker Hag. But sometimes that's not so fun. So, Doctor. This one's a mouthful. I think both of these are pretty good, and especially pretty good together. Like, they're each solidly solid on their own, but put together they're good. Really good. Survivors with Madness effect suffer from the following afflictions: calm, discipline, order, and restraint. Intermediately causes survivors to hear a distant illusionary terror radius. While in a chase, survivors perceive an illusionary red stain in terror radius as though the doctor were directly behind them. This effect persists for 6 seconds after the chase ends, and Madness 2 is consistently active in Madness 3. Broken pallets may appear to be replaced with illusionary pallets that may persist until approached. A new illusionary pallet or pallets is or are generated at the location of a random pallet broken every 20 seconds. Monitor increases the illusionary doctor duration. The doctor sees illusionary red stains as well as the auras of illusionary doctors and illusionary pallets. The only thing I have to say about this one is the terror radius and the red stain only really affect low level players or people that don't know what they're doing. Other than that, solid, pretty good. I think the pallets might help you a lot. All survivors struck by static therapy or static blasts special abilities acquire a lingering static charge. The static charge remains with the survivors until discharged. Multiple survivors struck with the same shock or static blast special ability that are within 4 meters of each other do not acquire a static charge. Anytime a survivor is within 4 meters of another survivor carrying a static charge, the survivor receives a shock with identical effects as the shock therapy special ability, and the static charge is discharged immediately. Now, this one, it's pretty good. Other than the fact that they can just stand near each other when you're about to do it, but I don't think many people are gonna do that, you know? I don't think many people are just gonna group together when they find a killer is. Hard to go against is the Doctor. Cannibal, I think his 2 iridescent add-ons, solid, don't need to be changed at all. Automatically consume all charges when triggering a chainsaw sweep, slightly increases the chainsaw sweep's duration, slightly decreases the chainsaw sweep's maximum speed. That's good on its own. It's really good with Death Gauge Rake, right? But it's also really good with Iridescent Flesh. Hitting Survivor with Chainsaw replenishes its charges, limits the maximum tantrum duration to 8 seconds. Ooh, you're gonna want these two together if you go against like a really good team, and it's pretty good. Ignore the toxic build I have on him. Freddy, Black Box. You become obsessed with one survivor. The obsession starts the trial in a dream world and cannot be woken up. This one, good, especially if you pair it with the palettes. Pretty good. Red Paintbrush. A large paintbrush wet with crimson paint. All survivors start the trial in the dream world. Failed skill checks do not wake up survivors in the dream world. Same thing as like the doctor's terror radius thing. This is not gonna affect people that are higher ranks more than once, or people that know what they're doing more than once. It's only gonna affect lower skilled people. But them all starting the world trial in the dream world, also really good for dream palettes. Also, them failing the skill check because of agitation, not agitation, distressing, pretty good. The pig, Amanda's letter. While crouched, see the outlines of the survivor within a 12-meter range. That's pretty good. Reduces reverse bear traps by 3. Reduces available jigsaw boxes by 2. This one, the only thing I have to say is maybe, just maybe, you put something that gives you another bear trap. I think there's one, right? That gives you another bear trap. Yeah, increases available reverse bear trap by 1. So, increases available jigsaw boxes by 1. So these two. Wait, reduces this plus this, or yeah, that's okay, I guess. Rule set number 2 disables the survivor's ability to see jigsaw boxes highlighted until their trap is activated. This one's pretty good. You could, interrupt them. That one's solid. But what I want to talk about is creative gears and tamper timer. The famous combo for now. Considerably increases the time it takes for survivors to search a jigsaw box. Moderately decreases the time it takes to put the reverse bear trap on a survivor. Moderately reduces the reverse bear trap's death timer. If you put these two together, you will slaughter. That's all I have to say. Use it for yourself. Clown. Now, Clown's add-ons are pretty good, I guess. Especially Redhead's pinky finger. Survivors hit directly by a bottle of After-Peace tonic suffer from the exposed side effect for the duration of the intoxication. That's pretty good. You're not going to be chasing survivors as long. But with Clown, you're not really going to be chasing survivors around a lot anytime, because his power kind of ends chases quickly. Auras of intoxicated or invigorated survivors are revealed to you for 6 seconds. This is good, especially if you don't know how to, if they're really good at looping you. Yeah. You can put that on. Makes these two. So you hit them easier. Spirit. Fire glasses. Survivor blood trails are visible while using Yamaoka's Haunting. These are really good if you're not sure, or if you want a easier time tracking. Mother-daughter ring. Scratch marks are no longer visible while using Yamaoka's Haunting. This, I would say, is really good if you put on Strider, right? Because you can't see their scratch marks, or these two together would be pretty good. Because you're faster, and you can see their blood trails instead of their scratch marks. So if they're not running, you can see their blood trails if you rage them. So that's pretty good. I don't have any complaints about those. Legion. Underrated. While using Pharaoh Frenzy, the repair progress of generators can be determined by the intensity of their auras. Same thing as Wraiths. Solid. I recommend it. Would I recommend more? Iridescent Button and Stolen Sketchbook. Iridescent Button. During Feral Frenzy, your terror radius affects the entire map, and any pallets you vault are immediately broken, and considerably increases Feral Frenzy duration. So not only are survivors going to be constantly overthinking and underthinking, like, oh no, they're not behind me, when in reality, you are, or, oh no, they are behind me, so they get off. I repair this with Ruin. So they start to get off gens more, and start doing other things. So yeah, that one's underrated. It's very good. Plus, it breaks pallets when you vault over them, so they can't use them anymore. That's pretty good. Plague. Black Incense. I still think Black Incense is underrated. Survivors' auras are revealed to you for 5 seconds when they mod it. Great. You will know where everyone is if they are sick constantly. Iridescent Seal. I think this could be good if you use it with like something else. But it is... I think Black Incense is the better ultra rare add-on, but this is still pretty good. Makes it so every time a generator is complete, you get Corrupt Purge. Tremendously decreases the duration of it though, and moderately decreases the movement speed while holding Corrupt Purge. So, outdoor security camera. I'm a Ghostface main. He's the only one I prestiged so far, right? So, the auras of all survivors outside of your terror radius are revealed for 4 seconds when a marked survivor is put in the dying state. This only works, right, like, really good if you have a small terror radius, and of course, he does, right, when he's in his stock. So, that can be sort of good, but only if you have, like, a really, really small terror radius. And Ghostface caught on tape. Tremendously increases the rate at which a survivor becomes marked when leaning for cover. Considerably decreases the rate at which a survivor becomes marked when not leaning from cover. I think this is meh on its own, but paired with night vision monocular is amazing. Because this now tremendously increases the rate at which a survivor becomes marked when leaning from cover. And this is already something you're going to be doing a lot. Stalking from when leading from cover because it's harder to see and harder to realize. So now it's like insanely fast. Now Demogorgon, of course, his add-ons are getting reworked, but I mean, I don't really play him too often. As you can see, he's level 1, but I think reveals the aura of all injured survivors while traversing the upside down. Awesome, especially if like one of them has no mither, or like you have like a constantly M1ing build. Solid. Tremendously increases the duration of the undetectable status effect applied to Demogorgon when emerging from a portal. Tremendously decreases the power recover speed of traversing the upside down. I think this is really good if you put it next to like a generator or a hook or somewhere that you're gonna go constantly. And like this plus Unknown Egg, it's pretty good, right? The Oni, Iridescent Family Crest. I don't use this one very often, but I can see why you would. While Blood Fury is active, missing a Demon Strike will cause all survivors within a 12-meter radius to scream and reveal their current location to you. So if you almost hit somebody and they go onto like a generator or something, which is something that happens a lot more than it should, okay, then boom, it's solid. And if it makes it harder to lose them in a chase. Rengio's Bloody Glove. All survivors can see the blood orbs. A survivor coming into contact with a blood orb will absorb the blood orb and reveal the orbs to the killer for 2 seconds. This is only good if you're not going to use your power, and it's really good if you add it with Splinter Hall. We call that no power Oni, and you will constantly know where the survivors are if they're not healing. You want to put like Sloppy Butcher, everything you can to make sure they're not healing. Deathslinger. He doesn't have too great of iridescent add-ons. Hellshire Iron. For as long as a survivor remains speared, the auras of all survivors within your terror radius are revealed. Usually, you want to hit a survivor, if they're speared, kind of fast, right? So why are you going to be looking around? You're not. So this isn't going to really help you most of the time. Iridescent Coin, I think this one's amazing. Doesn't need to be changed at all. It requires skill to use, and that's what, honestly, I think that's what most ranged killers should be doing. Require skill. Survivors speared from at least 50 meters away are inflicted with the exposed status effects, meaning you one-hit them for as long as they are speared. So if you spear somebody from far away, get them to you, and hit them, they're going to go down instantly. Pretty good, doesn't need to be changed. I think this one is pretty good, because it's what Deathslinger's add-on could have been. When sending a survivor to a Cage of Atonement, the auras of all survivors suffering from torment are revealed for 6 seconds. Amazing, you're going to know where everyone is, and you actually are going to look around afterwards, unless you're, like, following somebody. With Deathslinger, you already have somebody on your spear, right? You're not going to be looking around very much. Obsidian Goblin. So I think both of these are pretty solid, especially Obsidian Goblin. The Executioner gains the undetectable status effect when standing on a Righteous Judgment trail. Amazing. So you will get so many surprise attacks, and it doesn't really have a downside unless you want to be in a chase and accidentally step on a trail. I don't think Blight's add-ons need to be changed at all. Compound 33, any survivor within 16 meters of a slam will suffer from the hindered status effects for 3 seconds, and slamming pallets or breakable walls will destroy them and stun the Blight for 1.5 seconds. Amazing. Nothing else to say, but it's pretty good. The hindered status effect will make sure that they slow down while you break the pallet. Upon using all rush tokens, your last lethal rush will put survivors into dying state. Awesome. If you can get it to work, it's amazing. If you don't get it to work, you probably already knocked them down by the time that they tried to escape, right? Trickster. Death Throws compilation. That's not how you spell throws. Is it? No, that's not how you spell throws. A collection of the final sounds from his victims, blah 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 blah. Laceration caused by blades is based on proximity to the target, starting at a minimum of 50%. Each blade hit increases the laceration caused by blades to a maximum of 200%. Once the blade misses, the laceration value caused by the blade is reset to its initial value. I mean, this is only good if you can hit your shots, and doing that with Trickster is kind of hard, because if they just duck down, boom. So this one is situational. When a survivor's laceration meter is 1 blade hit away from the maximum, they are inflicted with the exposed status effect. I'm glad they made it so that you can actually hit them down with your blades with this one. Now it's solid, pretty good. I mean, nothing other to say than if you can get it to work, very good. It's kind of like blades. If you can get it to work, amazing. If you don't, they're probably going to go down by the time you would have gotten it to work anyways. So you don't really lose very much, right? And that's it. I don't have twins. I'm sorry. I couldn't bring myself to buy them. I tried playing them before, and it didn't really work on the PPB. So, yeah, that's the end of this video. That was me going over the iridescent add-ons and the changes I think they could make. And if they shouldn't, I just said they're fine. I mean, it's pretty solid. I said that a lot because most of the killers, the iridescent add-ons, are solid, or they're at least fun to play with. I think the one that needs the most change is probably Demogorgon. But he's already getting buffed, so yay! As always, I'll see you in the next video. Stay fresh. Peace out.